this is what I deduced essentially from what Canty's saying, that Aaron Rodgers cares more about Aaron Rodgers than he does the team.
Okay.
So his decisions are at the expense of the team.
Okay. And I'm saying to you, that's absolutely right, and you have a big-time point. If Aaron Rodgers is on the field and all of this is happening, we can't knock Aaron Rodgers for wanting what he wants. If he was on the field, then the level of productivity would have been higher. That's all I'm saying. Chris Canty, if the New York Jets, with Aaron Rodgers healthy, had gone to the playoffs last year, would Chris Canty have been able to say that?
No.
That's my point.
But it's not even about him not playing. First of all, what he's talking about is the Aaron Rodgers we saw in Green Bay. The Aaron Rodgers we've seen in Florham Park has looked like a different guy from a leadership standpoint. Yes, I understand he only played 4 snaps of last season. But as somebody who was at training camp, we've been to training camp where we have experience being around this team and seeing the difference in how, not just practice, but how the confidence, how the building feels. When I've talked to Quinnen Williams, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, like Breece Hall about the type of guy Aaron is, they are all in. So I hear what Canty is saying about Aaron Rodgers, like why are the Jets beholden to him? Because they have not seen a quarterback this talented and we don't know how long. That is why, because they haven't figured it out any other way. You're putting all your chips in for Aaron Rodgers, and I'm good with that. But this team, on paper, could win the AFC East, and it could contend for a Super Bowl on paper. But I think Chris is that was a bit too harsh for me.
Aaron Rodgers is on the field. Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks that we have ever seen throw the football. And I know people want to talk about the Achilles, and yes, that is a factor. But you put Aaron Rodgers back on this roster with all the moves that GM Joe Douglas has made, and you going and people will say that this Jets team isn't going to be one of the best teams in the AFC this year. You got to be kidding me.
We can say that.
Hold on, y'all. But I think it's important to point this out. Listen, here's the deal, man. You're Aaron Rodgers, okay? Now you're going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're going to San Francisco 49ers. You're going to a plethora of teams throughout the National Football League. You're not going to have that clout, regardless of how great you are. But when you're going to a moribund franchise like the New York Jets, who should be thanking their heavenly stars, you even looked at them, let alone signed with them and decided to wear their uniform and enter their facilities, excuse me, you're going to cater to and capitulate to the wishes and desires of your star. Now, you might sit up there and say, as the GM, there leaves a lot to be desired, no question about it, because don't get me started with Nathaniel Hackett. Don't get me started with what NFL teams are saying about how archaic and pedestrian the New York Jets offense is. It's one of, schematically, it's one of, if not the worst in the entire National Football League. Obviously, it makes you look at Nathaniel Hackett. But Nathaniel Hackett has been a guy that Aaron Rodgers relied upon when Aaron Rodgers was busy being great in Green Bay. So he can't anticipate that his Achilles is going to give out on the 4th play of the game. What he's saying is, for me to do what I do, this is what I need. And if I do what I do, then we ain't going to look like you've customarily looked throughout history. And I'm saying that makes sense. So I understand where Canty is coming from. Please don't get me wrong. He's not necessarily wrong on its face. But you got to take those things into consideration when you're looking at Aaron Rodgers and thinking about why he is the way that he is with the New York Jets and why the Jets capitulate to it. They don't have no damn choice. What have they done to refute him?
So, and that's the thing about Aaron Rodgers. Everybody wants to dunk on Aaron, and I get it. You know, they want to say that he's being so selfish and this or that. But the truth of the matter is that the teammates love him. Okay? So he can't be that selfish, because teammates' opinions about players don't lie. And the teammates, outside of a handful of teammates, all universally love Aaron. The front office doesn't like Aaron. Coaches may not like Aaron. But his teammates historically do. And Aaron's asking for a handful of things, not unlike Tom Brady did. You know, not unlike a lot of these other players do when they reach the status that they reach. And what Aaron wants is to not only increase his chances of success, but is also the team's success as well. I mean, they want to point to Nathaniel Hackett. That is the OC that he's comfortable with. That is the OC that he thinks that he can do the best job with. Whether he's right or wrong, Aaron believes it. Aaron's not trying to set the Jets up to fail. Aaron wants about what? If you think that Aaron is just going to New York just for fun, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, because there's no way. Aaron, in his mind, thinks that he understands the offense really, really good. And so he doesn't want a big personality OC. He wants to be able to actually have a tremendous amount of say in the offense and collaborate in that regard. And you know what? That's what Tom Brady did with Tampa Bay. At first, he tried to just completely adopt what was going on in Tampa Bay, and it wasn't really working. And it wasn't until Tom Brady stepped in and said, we got to do things differently. Then, in the end of the season, they went on their run, and of course, they won the Super Bowl. So that is effectively what Aaron is trying to do. Aaron is trying to say, yo, I am one of the best football minds in the NFL. I do not want to have a coach that just doesn't trust my opinion in that regard. When you let me, quote unquote, cook, great things can happen. So we have to see it happen first before we criticize it. We can't just criticize it based off of nothing. It's like we're adding to the whole fact that the Jets were kind of a mess last season because he got injured, and we're putting that all on Aaron, and that's not fair. It's just not. Or the fact that he was so unhappy with Green Bay and that they weren't super successful. I mean, Tom Brady's last pass was a pick 6 for the Patriots? I mean, that was a disaster. So there can be certain situations where someone can be more or less successful that aren't always in the control of the player, even though that player seemingly has a lot of control. So I think we just have to be a little bit more patient with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets and see what happens this season before we just kind of jump on him, because Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks the NFL has ever seen. I mean, there's just no disputing that. And yes, if you want to call out that he hasn't won a lot of Super Bowls and this, that, third, well, you know what? The majority of the time, his coach was Mike McCarthy. Is Mike McCarthy really that great of a coach? Because he's about to get fired from Dallas. So if you want to say that Mike McCarthy is this great coach, we all want to use Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes even as these frame of references for what makes someone great. Tom Brady, look how many Super Bowls he won. Patrick Mahomes, look at all the Super Bowls that he won. You know what the common denominator is? Is that they have the two best coaches in the history of the NFL. It's almost like coaching matters, right? Yeah, because it does. It matters significantly. So I'm really excited to see what Aaron can do with the Jets. Because you know what? I strongly believe that if Aaron played with the Jets last season, they would have had at least another 3 wins with Aaron, because Aaron is light years better than Zach Wilson. And come on, you could be the biggest Aaron Rodgers or Jets hater, and there's no way you can doubt that. And we can say that the Jets would have won at least 2-3 more games, which would have put them in contention for the 2 seed in the AFC East. They would have had a higher ranking than the Chiefs, the Super Bowl winning Chiefs. That's who the Jets can be. They have true potential, and now we just have to wait and see what happens. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.